officers, non-teaching staffs, people from EMRC, good morning to all. I am very happy and delighted to invite you all for 130th birth anniversary of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. As you all know, he is a great parliamentarian. He has taken the responsibility of writing our Indian Constitution. Throughout his life, he fought for equality of the people. Not only that, he is having so many versatile personality in terms of taking care of the women empowerment. Even he looked into reforming the Indian labor law. He is the role model for all of us. Such a person's birthday we are celebrating today. He has done so much of things for us. Our university is always taking the forefront in implementing all the policies of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who made for us. Whenever the employees comes with grievances through the right platform, our Honorable Vice Chancellor is keen to address that kind of issues. Here the only point which you need to look into is it need to come through the proper platform, through proper mechanism. In that case, he is always ready to address that kind of grievances, be it the grievances of students or the faculty members or the stakeholders of the university. He is always in the forefront to address the issues. I am thankful to Honorable Vice Chancellor. Whenever I took the issues as a liaison officer of Special Reservation Cell, he is keen to take into the consideration of the matters. Many of the issues were addressed. Still, whatever the pending issues exist, as per the demand notice circulated by the SC/ST Welfare Association, definitely that will take into consideration, that will be addressed as early as possible. That's very much possible. I hope he will do good for us in terms of implementing the constitutional right as given a letter and spirit. He definitely will implement for us. With this note, once again I am thankful to Honorable Vice Chancellor. Even the COVID situation, he has agreed to be here with us by following all the protocols. Thank you so much, sir. With this welcome, I request Honorable Vice Chancellor to share a few words about B.R. Ambedkar.
Thank you, friends, Professor Arul, for organizing this function. I've been highlighting ever since I've joined here, and whenever we were celebrating Baba Saheb Ambedkar's birthday, I've always highlighted and I've emphasized in all my sayings that if you pick up the greatest leaders of a country, I'm using the word greatest, so greatest can be only one, but we could club in that one number of other leaders of equal importance. And when I do that, probably when I ask this to young kids or to anybody or any housewife or anybody who is not connected with the reading or a knowledge side, one would say Mahatma Gandhi, right? And yes, the greatest, the person who taught us how to achieve things without damaging our country's resources. How to be sincere, how to be honest, how to be honest to your own self. All these virtues were taught. And that's why we call him the greatest. Now in that bracket, if I have to club somebody, he is Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar. Unfortunately, he's not been given the rightful place. We term him as a great leader, but we don't term him amongst the greatest. So I would put him in that bracket for two reasons, let me tell you. First reason is that whatever constitution we have, if somebody has to be given the best amount of contribution place, that goes to Dr. Ambedkar. Because he is the one who, if you look at the history, people were saying that, well, look at the constitution of obviously England, because they were ruling at that time. Look at the constitution of US, that should be enough. In fact, in the debates, which another great of our constitution building was Ramaswamy Mudaliar and one Mr. Iyengar, uh, he emphasized, he says, no, we have to get the constitution of many other countries. That's why our constitution took more than 3 years to be ready. And in fact, it is after a great amount of reading of all other constitutions that we came up with our present constitution, which came into force on 26th January 1950. And the greatest architect of that was Baba Saheb Ambedkar. Unfortunately, I am saying, our country has not analyzed the vision of this great man. You can imagine, we got independence, and the vision at that time of equality, of virtues, of dedication, of sincerity, in all, it is not, he never said it is only the parliamentarian who will be responsible for this. He said even the lowest rung, a field worker, an agriculture worker, an office attendant, they will be equally responsible for the building of a nation. A housewife would be there, would be equally responsible. He was the one who said that. He envisioned this in 1947, a time when we were not even knowing how many states are there in our country. So that was the greatest vision that this great soul had. And but unfortunately, I am again saying, repeatedly the word unfortunately comes in whenever I address, wherever I get a chance, that he has not been given the rightful place for reasons, let me tell you. He is a leader of a country. He is a leader of our nation. He is a leader of all communities. He is a leader of all religions. You know, he had a great thinking on religious matters. You read his discourses on religion, you will know what an in-depth study he had done. So he was a leader of a country in all respects. But over the years, the way things developed, we have started thinking that he is a leader of only one community, which is not. He is a leader of everyone. He is a leader of everyone because he looked into everybody's problems. Whether it is a Sikh or a Christian or a Hindu or a Bodh or whatever, he considered everybody on one platform. And if you look at our constitution, you know, this has been said time and again. Our constitution is the best in the world because it has looked into every aspect. Why I keep repeating this is, you look at United States, you look at Britain, you look at Germany, they all had a very great uniformity in their setup. Germany is a German. There will be maybe 0.5% Jews, that's it. But all our rest are all Germans, nothing else. Americans, well, it's a mixed race, but they all speak English, they all have one language, they have all style, they go to church, they all follow same customs. But when you compare any other country with our country, you will find that our country is a country of great diversity. We have so many religions, we have so many languages, we have so many customs, we have so many food habits, we have different kind of dressing styles. Baba Saheb Ambedkar paid attention to each and everything, and ultimately he says everybody has to be respected in an equivalent term. If I have to celebrate my festivities, the others will have equal right to celebrate the festivities. Such things are enshrined in our constitution only, nowhere else. That is what is to be termed as the greatest contribution of one single person. I always tell that is Dr. Ambedkar. His philosophy, a lot of people have done lots of work on this. There are many PhDs, many research articles, many parliamentarians have addressed various words for us, but the way we should put his philosophy, a lot of work has to be done. We need to equate ourselves, we need to look at the spirit with which the constitution is written. We misuse our constitution. You would have seen, oh, this is my right, this is my right. They keep shouting, these are my demands. Students will come, Karamcharis will come, in the office, electricity department, water department, legislatures, these are our demands. Have you ever heard, give me one example, I'll give you any kind of an award. Have you heard anybody telling, this is my duty? Sir, I am coming at 9 o'clock, it is my duty. I am bound by constitution. But have we thought of that? We never say that. Sir, I am coming at 11. It's my right. It's my right. I'm a man of free country. So we always talk about our rights. We never talk about our duties. Baba Sahib said, if we have to progress, our duties are equally important. Our duties are more important than our rights. Freedom of speech, which is enshrined in our constitution, you will not find it, I'm underlining, you will not find it anywhere else in the world. You can stand anywhere and say whatever you want to. That's freedom. But nowhere else you will have it. That is the greatest contribution. So I can go on and on, but if you look at what I've said, if you analyze and you stand before this great soul, you will realize that in 1947, to have a vision of this kind was not an ordinary thing. It doesn't come only from here. It has come from some out of the box thinking. And for a person, he was not a millionaire, let me tell you. He was a person from an average background. For a person to study, for a person to think, for a person to pen down those things, those thoughts into a document, and then ultimately to bring it into our country in the form of a constitution. The best part was, which people do not know, if you look at the writings of those days, some of the 4 or 5 members who were there who made a great contribution. If you look at those writings, in detailed studies if you do, you will find that whatever Baba Sahib Ambedkar wrote about religious equality, about classes equality, about working style, about how to go about putting various terms for various services. Whatever he wrote, I'm repeating, whatever he wrote, nobody in that Constituent Assembly, the members who were designated to write, nobody ever criticized, not even a word. Nobody said, Baba Sahib, this is wrong, let's remove it. Whatever he wrote, this is wonderful. This was the greatest contribution. This was the hallmark of this personality. All others who were there at that time, they gave their own views, they gave, and then people said, no, let's change this, change that. So if you just carry out, historical perspective, if you look at this survey, it is there in our library incidentally. We have some of the records. You will find 30%, 20%, 40% changes in the part that was written by others. But here is a person, 100% as it was accepted. So that's why I keep repeating and I keep emphasizing the greatest contribution to our constitution, if one single person has made, that was Dr. Ambedkar. I am not exaggerating, I am not pleasing anybody, it's a fact. It's a fact. And this is also a fact that if we keep his spirit in mind, our country will be one of the best in the world. But unfortunately, we are not doing it. We are looking at it from various sectorial kind of a division, which is unfortunate. We need to rectify that, and I hope people in our country, people particularly in education sector, would rise up to the occasion, and through their discussions, discourses, teachings, will come up to a level where Baba Sahib wanted all of us to be. That's it. So I compliment your association, Professor Arul, who came to me that though it's a COVID situation where we must celebrate, I immediately said yes, we will do it by following COVID protocols. And we have done that rightly. And I've also been saying every now and then that in order to imbibe the spirit and lessons and teachings of an individual, the best way is to remember the person every year. That is why we celebrate our religious festivities every year, year after year. I mean, if I look at, let's say, Dussehra or Diwali or Pongal, don't we know what is it? But we do it every year. We do it every year to tell our offsprings, to tell our kids, to tell our youngsters that, look, this is what it is. So that they remember. It gets into their mind. When they grow up, they don't give up their traditions. If you have to forget, if you have to erase, then best way is don't celebrate anything. And you will find it will be moving out of your memories. No children, no child will remember. Our children will completely forget who was Baba Ambedkar and who was Mahatma Gandhi and who was Ramchandra and who was Lord Hanuman. Nobody will remember. It is only year after year when we celebrate, it tells our younger generations that here is our country and our country is because of these souls. This is what we need to remember, and it is revived every time we celebrate. So I compliment the association that they have taken up this task of celebrating this great occasion year after year. Somewhere, one of you, one of your children, one of your sisters, one of your brothers, one of your family members, one of your students, sooner or later they'll ask, why do we do this? What is so great about Baba Ambedkar? So that will spark, it will kindle a spark in their minds. We must know who is Baba Ambedkar. We must read. Or if we don't get time, at least I can ask Professor Arul, please tell me. I can ask Modi, you're a political scientist. Students will ask him, what is it? Please tell us. So this way, an urge will be there to know more and more. And that's how we will enliven our culture, and we will remember, we will always strengthen our traditions by respecting the souls of likes of Baba Sahib Ambedkar. So I compliment and I wish that you celebrate this year after year, so that everybody remembers and we make our country stronger, better, rich, livable, so that our country becomes a lesson for other countries in the world, that how a country, a unit with so much of diversity, languages, traditions, is run together as a one unit. This is what we have shown. This is what I hope shall continue in the years to come. Thank you very much, and I pay my homage to Baba Ambedkar, and I hope everybody shall follow his footsteps. Thank you very much.